Hello, everybody. I'm sure a lot of you have gotten the news that Peter Tork sadly passed away yesterday. As each of these, deaths get closer and closer, each one is much more heartbreaking. Needless to say, I was in tears yesterday, several times throughout the day. The Monkees, as you guys know, are a bit of an obsession of mine. I was upset when Davey died. I was definitely upset yesterday when Peter died. What is amazing to me now, I see this outpouring of love and celebration for Peter. The sad thing for me is that I wish this outpouring of love was happening when he was alive. Because everybody knows the Monkees were criticized for this and criticized for that. They weren't a real band and blah, blah, blah. Everybody knows that stuff. The thing is, as I've said in the, the few videos I've done, they were a television show, much in the same way the Brady Bunch was. But the cast of that show wanted to be a band, and nobody wanted to be a band more so than Peter. In Mickey's book, I'm a Believer, he basically said Peter kind of wanted us to be that band that lived at the beach house the way we were on the show. And when the Monkees finally got control away from Don Kirshner and they did their debut album as an actual band, Headquarters, that was Peter's finest moment. Peter was happy. He got what he wanted, to be in a band. And when the other guys decided hey, we want to do our own things from now on after that, it kind of broke Peter's heart. Peter was very talented. Everybody goes on about Mike, and I love Mike. But Peter was a multi-instrumentalist. Not only could he play, he was probably a better guitar player than Mike, actually. Peter could play the banjo. Peter could play keyboards very well. Very good piano player. Very good keyboard player. He was trained musically. He was a school musician. And a lot of his songs, and some of them which had never come out, are really good songs. In fact, in the movie Head, his two songs are probably the high points of the movie. Can You Dig It? And long title, Do I Have to Do This All Over Again? Even Mike Nesmith had said that when those songs come in the movie comes alive for him. And there's a number of songs that he did during that period of late 67 and 68 when they were in the middle of doing what would eventually become the Birds, the Bees, and the Monkees album. A number of songs that he did that were shelved, like Lady's Baby, one of my favorites, Tear the Top Right Off of My Head. So he was a really good songwriter, and a lot of those songs should have been on those albums, I felt, and they were shelved, unfortunately. But I'm glad that he is getting recognition. And let's face it, it was only the critics who didn't realize the brilliance of the Monkees. Their peers, they realized it, all of them. Peter was hanging, actually dated Janis Joplin for a while. And they were everybody knew who everybody was in the scene, and they were all happy for their success. It was the critics. And there used to be a clip on YouTube. It's not here anymore, but there was a clip of of some hipster critic back in the 60s trying to bait Jerry Garcia into talking trash about the Monkees. And Jerry wasn't having it. And he wasn't having it. He was like, they should be selling a lot of records because those are good pop records. There you go. So it's a shame that Peter and Davey are now both gone. And these guys are still not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. There's the whole theory, do they deserve to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? If I hear one more crack about, well, they were a manufactured group. No, they were a television show. And the cast of the show wanted to be wanted to turn it into a reality. As Mickey Dolenz always says, Leonard Nimoy actually becoming a Vulcan is what he likens it to. And that's essentially what happened. They didn't write their own music. There's a number of tunes that they did write, especially Nesmith and Tork, and even Mickey Dolenz. But Elvis didn't write his own songs. He's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but he didn't write his own songs. There's a number of the early rock and roll pioneers that didn't write their own songs and are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So I don't want to hear that argument. Peter was a musician and a gentle soul. He could have a bit of a temper on him as well. He was not the character he played on the show. He was the only one who really had to truly act, whereas Mike, Davey, and Mickey were playing characters that were more in line with who they were in real life. Peter had to play the Harpo Marx role. Played it very well, but he was not that person. He was extremely intelligent, very well read, very cultured, and like I said, a very schooled and great musician. Peter, rest in peace. Thank you for watching.